Oh, the timer stopped. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Everyone's wave to the masses out there. Last week, I think we had somebody in Malawi, which is in Africa. So you got to remember, when you're online, you're global. Yeah. Now, we are, according to the producer, near on our, what'd she say? 999,000 viewers. So we need to tip it to 1 million, guys. We can do it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Greetings to the masses out there. Welcome to, I was going to say Real Talk. That's because I haven't done it for so long. Simply Together show, Tuesday, 22nd of August, with myself, Dee Bailey, and the amazing and wonderful Cecile in the house.
Hello.
We are hosting today.
Hello.
Our awesome guests, myself and the lovely Louise. We are going to be back on a little bit later, but we are going to hand over to the lovely Cecile, who's going to have a chat with Debs, Sandra, and
Gianna.
The name's gone off the screen. Should have been.
Hello, lovely ladies. How are you doing?
Hi, Cecile. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I need to start by saying congratulations, lovely lady.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. She said yes.
I did.
So when are we going to see the shiner? Have you got a shiner yet or not?
No, not yet, because you know what I'm like. I'm particularly specific in what I like. So yes, I'm going to choose. I'm going to go and choose. So
yeah, you're going to have to look around, aren't you? Yeah. But anyway,
you know what I'm like. Thank you,
yes.
my darling.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, welcome. I can see you're most probably working at the minute. Are you, the three of you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, it's good.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about what it is you're doing over there, so that our viewers can then get to know you?
Yes. Well, I'm Deborah, and we have a company called So What Have I Found For You. So what we do is we do sewing classes, beginners, intermediary, and advanced, and we do creative textile classes. This is Sandra. Sandra specializes in the beginners, so she literally shows people how to use a sewing machine, and literally from scratch upwards. This is Gianna. Gianna is our teaching assistant, so she comes in and works with whichever classes is going on at the time. So these are the girls that's with us. So yeah, that's what we do. We do everything from literally basic sewing right up to projects in the community and big pieces of artwork, commissioned art pieces of work, dressmaking, quilting, everything, just everything. Everything.
Okay, so let's hold on to I'm just writing these down, artwork and community. How did you get started then?
I've got a degree and a master's degree in fine art, and I specialise in textiles. So this is my area. What I did was I'd had enough of working in education, as so, and wanted to come into this environment here, which we've got a studio, we've got a cutting facility, we've got a teaching area, we've got quite a lot that goes on within this building. And I, believe it or not, this room behind us, I went to rent this little room as a little mini studio so that I could work away from home and do my own work.
Okay.
I wanted to do, I thought I could set up 3 10-week classes a year and it would pay for my studio for the year. That was nearly 5 years ago, just over 5 years ago. And now we run 365 right the way through the year. We've got classes right the way through the week. We've got staff, there's more of us, and we do all different kinds of bits and pieces. So yeah, we're good. It's about so much more than the sewing though. It's about so much more than the sewing. So
it's about the people, isn't it? It's about the people that are coming in and doing the sewing and learning. It's about them.
It's community. It's about community. It's about putting people back into a community situation where people are getting together, where we put the worlds to rights, where we talk about how they are, how our community is, what we can do to help, and literally nobody's on their own. Everybody knows that we work together as a group and everyone's there for each other, and it's just we check up on each other. it's about old school community, so there's so much more. Yeah, so much more.
Did you think it would grow like this?
No, didn't have any idea that it would go to the way it's gone. It is now. It was. I was blessed with amazing people who came into my classes, and we don't really advertise it. It all just goes kind of word of mouth. So everybody comes in with us, and everybody who comes just generally stays. So we've got quite a lot of students. We go into North London, and we do classes in North London as well. So we do a lot of all sorts of bits and pieces, and we travel around and do bits and pieces everywhere. So it's good. It's good. So yeah.
So you're saying about being in the community then, and I suppose you're now reaching the wider community if you're going to London as well.
Yes, it's got. Do you know? It's absolutely brilliant because within the North London thing, we went into areas that were being regenerated, whereas there was a beautiful, a fantastic mix of culture, which is beautiful, and everything was where they had a real centre of community. They were redeveloping the housing and everything that was around and about, so that community had been sort of pushed apart, and new people were coming in, and there was not that continuity and family that comes within community, you know, where people are like family and everybody, and they were losing that. And we've gone into the areas and we're bringing people back in again, and it's just purely about getting people together, sitting down and eating together and talking and finding out how everybody's day is, finding out who's not feeling too grand and why they're not feeling too grand, and just being able to do the sewing, but literally to be able to just talk to each other and be there for them when's needed. And it's huge. And we've got no generation gap where our kids, we've got kids that's from, what's our youngest at the moment, 12 to 80. 12 to 80. And men as well, not just women, men as well. So we've got men as well, and it's a great environment. So it's brilliant.
That just sounds absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because that's what they need in the community, don't they?
Absolutely.
So
sorry, go.
Beginners, and also do you also have people come there who know how to sew and they just want to sew?
Yes, we've got people who come in at intermediary, so we've got intermediary and advanced classes. The lines between intermediary and advanced now has got a little bit blurred, because what happened was initially that was the setup of beginners, intermediary and advanced, and people went through. But now we've got people who sort of thought like 3 lots of 10-week sessions, but now we don't do that. So what we do is people come forever and ever.
We don't go away.
We don't go away.
Forever.
So nobody ever does the same thing. There's different projects all the time. As I say, we have group projects which are really community based. We've got a fantastic one that's running at the moment that we've just started, which we're doing a huge Windrush piece. So it's because we've got a lot of Windrush children of the Windrush. So it's the parents came over on the Windrush generation, and we've got that, and the stories are beautiful. And what we're doing is we're doing a huge textile piece that's everybody's story. So everybody in the whole class is doing it. So it's about being informed as well, because the kids that with us aren't as informed as the children of the Windrush generation, and we've had some beautiful sessions. So that's what's going on at the moment, and so fabulous stuff.
So when you say that this is a big piece, is this a big piece of material with things on it?
Yeah. So it's a huge piece. It's probably about 15 foot by about, what would you say? I'm looking over there because we've got the wall side. 15 foot by 12. 15 foot by 12.
Wow.
And then what we've got in the front is we've got little tiny suitcases, because we've looked into what people actually brought across with them and everything else like that. And so we've got the suitcases, and people's looked into what people brought. So children that came across, what they brought with them. what women brought, what men brought, and we've looked into that. So we've got the old suitcases that's going to be opened with the things inside as well. So that's going to be at the bottom. And then what we've done is we've literally, one of our beautiful ladies who you'll know is Patricia as well. So you know Tricia as well.
Yeah.
Her dad did a really moving talk on his journey over.
Wow.
And he said that it took him 19 days to get here. So that's what our project's called. The actual piece of art's called. It took me 19 days to get
Wow.
here. That's what we've used his direct quote as the title for the piece of work that we're doing. So it's
and everyone's
brilliant.
getting involved in it.
Everyone's getting involved in it.
All our ladies and gents.
Yeah,
And you know what's really interesting is the fact that it doesn't take 19 days to get anywhere really now, does it? You can get to Australia in 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So it's just such a there's so many beautiful stories, and it's not all negative. There's some bad, some good, but all it does is just show what amazing people and how lucky this country is to have each and every one of them, people like came across, to help us out in a time when we need it. And literally they picked up where we needed them to pick up, and they were absolutely stunning. And they're such a huge part of this country, and it needs to be raised, and people need to know exactly how much difference everybody's made, and it's just beautiful. So it's been we've just said last night, because we've asked everyone to research the little pieces they're doing, and it's become so addictive. Everybody's researching and going off the journey, and it's so beautiful. So it's great. It's great.
See, I kind of think we need to get you to go to Parliament or something and just stand up there. And because what you've just said, how you've just shared it, is just like, we need you to go and do that, actually. We need you to go and do that.
I need to be Prime Minister, because there'll be no carrying if I'm Prime Minister. This is it.
Deborah for Prime Minister. That's what we need. Deborah for Prime Minister.
I think it's the way forward.
Campaign.
They wouldn't get any work done in there, though, would they?
I know that there's another thing that you do, possibly within that group, that you, for young people, and you came down to International Women's Day and you spoke about it with so much passion, period poverty.
Yes. Period poverty is a huge part of who we are. Yeah, completely. So it was beginning of this year, we were approached by one of our local schools, and what had happened was that they were losing a huge part of their teen girls when they were having their periods, because of the way that everything was at the time, as far as the fuel, energy and everything was concerned. Their sanitary protection was becoming secondary to food, putting food on the table. So we were losing, our schools were losing our girls because of it. So we went in, and what we did is we came together as a group, and we created what we called a period pack. So what it turned out to be is it's a small bag about the size of a pencil case. And inside we made reusable sanitary towels, period pants, we put normal sanitary protection in, we put wipes in, we put bags in, we put everything that everybody would need for the duration of their week's period for that month. And then what we've said is we've sustained it as it's an ongoing concern with us. So what happens now, we said within the pack, we put a letter in that that this would cover them for this month when they needed it. But if they were still stuck next month, to come to us, and we would make sure that they were covered, because our girls are not missing school and missing out on education because they can't afford sanitary protection. And I mean, it's when they're choosing between a loaf of bread and a pack of sanitary towels.
Yeah.
It's just a really sad situation. Yeah. But and what we did is, because we did them like pencil cases, they've gone behind the reception at school. So what the tagline was, and what was most important to know, is the girls had to come and say, I forgot my pencil case, and they were given them one of these bags. No shame, because we need to take away the shame of parents in general. We need to take away the shame of right the way through of women in general, because then it goes from periods, then you go through pregnancy, there's postnatal depression that so many of our ladies get, and then we hit menopause. So we have this onward upwards and downwards roller coaster. But we taken away in our area, none of our girls are going to go where they're missing school because of sanitary protection. So that's our period poverty. So which is community again, community pulling together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's together for this. Our ladies have really
It's
worked
listening,
hard.
isn't it? It's listening to what they, what they're asking for and putting that into practice.
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot. It's with compassion.
Go on.
It's totally done with compassion because the way as I say, I don't want to get political because if I get political, we'll be here till 3 o'clock this afternoon. But what we need our government to start and look and say, we need to make sure that our younger generation aren't missing school, aren't missing chance of education because of poverty.
Yeah.
And we always had that unfortunate, we had that poverty element within our society, which we did, and but now that's grown. So it's people who've got 2 jobs, mums and dads working all the hours God sends, with a family, not a huge family, but can't afford to sustain everyday things that they shouldn't even have to think about, which is literally sanitary protection. And what was we extended as well because we looked into boys' toiletries. So we've done this as well. So we had little bits and pieces. So we've got the facilities to sustain our period packs indefinitely at the moment. So, and it's all self-funded. We don't get funding from anywhere else. It's all self-funded within our groups and our community around us. So
wow, that is just. I think with period poverty, I think there's so many people that don't even know it exists because it's not on their radar because they've got enough money to be able to shop and buy everything they need. I don't think they even know that there's an issue that young girls are missing a week at a time.
Yeah,
because they don't have access to that. So
we have 2 ladies who's normally in class with us today, and they're not at the moment, but they are Indian ladies who were brought up in India, and they told their story about when they were younger, and when their periods arrived, their mother took their bedspread off the top of their bed, cut it into squares, and give them their squares and said, there's your sanitary protection. That has got to last you all your life, so you've got to look after it. So they maintained it by washing it, putting it out, and everything else. So we need to get back to a society where we are reusing and repurposing, because as a company, we are 80% sustainable. So everything that we do is about upcycling, repurposing as best that we can, and everything else like this. So this is why we looked into the reusable sanitary towels and period packs, and within the bags that we were doing, and we looked into doing that as well. So that is huge within our remit as well. That's continuously what we strive for, a more sustainable company and a more sustainable environment.
Fantastic. I could sit here and talk to the 3 of you for the rest of the day, but I can't because Dee and Louise are they're waiting in the wings. But don't disappear, stay there with us. But that is absolutely fantastic, and we will share that out as we did for International Women's Day. We will let everybody know what it is that you're doing. It is brilliant. I am in awe, and I think you need to be our local MP.
Take it the way forward.
Without a doubt.
Oh, there'd be changes, girl. There'd be changes.
Just putting that out there for whoever's listening.
Agreed completely. Come and see me.
This needs to be our local MP. Do you not agree, Dee?
Discord.
Sorry, I certainly do. I say, do you know what? I'm like looking at myself on the screen, but totally forgetting that I'm actually on live. Hi everyone. Just hustling a load of things at the same time, and listening. When you're doing what you're doing, you just do it because that's just you. You're passionate, and you can just see that. Do you know what I mean? You want to slice you, and it just runs totally through you. So thank you so
blessed.
Honestly, yourself, Debs, and the other ladies as well. Thank you so much. Just continue to be you. And when you think you're not making a bigger impact as you want to, you'll start hearing the ripples. In time to come, you'll hear the ripples of where you've thrown and cast those stones. It's gone much wider than you think.
Oh,
Love to
It's
you
gone
all.
far wider, seriously, than you think. So thank you so much. Please
Thank
stay
you.
on. Where is that Clarky Warky? Where is she?
Where's
She's
Clarky?
hiding from us. Oh, I don't know. Some people are on a jolly, having a little snooze. Oh, there she is.
I'm here. I just want to say as well, amazing what you guys do. I'm literally in awe listening to what you do for the whole
Thank you,
community.
darling.
It's just incredible. It's amazing, really is.
Thank you, my
I
darling.
told you, loose women ain't got out on us. Trust.
Not a catch. Get it?
We will catch you guys in a little bit. Clarky, greetings, young lady. Greetings. Where you been? Where have you been?
I've been all over. So this
Well,
year's
I don't even know why I'm saying that, because I've seen, but for those, cause there are people out there that haven't got a clue, like some girl, Louise Clark, who the hell is she? Well, we could be here all day. So I'm going to need you to kind of condense some of it. But if you can, just give people you need to go in certain places. I think you know what I mean. Because for people to understand, sometimes when we go down, we all go down different paths. None of us, even if it's similar, none of us are trod the same path. And to know, do you know what? Hope. I know your name's Louise, but I'm going to call you Hope.
I like that.
I'm going to call you Hope. So just give us a little bit, and then we'll kind of bring it up to obviously where you're at now. But just give us a little background for those that don't know. And yeah, and guys out there, please, when we say share, you'll understand why we say share. There is always, whatever show we do, no matter who our guests are, there is always something for someone. It may not actually be for you. The message sometimes might not be for you directly. But do you know what? When you tell a friend, I wish you'd have told me, or I wish you'd have shared, because that's exactly what I need to hear today. So over to you, Clarky.
Okay, so I'll be quick then. So my journey has been up and down. It's been an eventful one. So from 9 years old, I was exploited, criminally exploited, went through whole heap of drama, excluded from school 18 times.
Did you say 18?
18. So I was suspended 15 and expelled 3. And I left school with no qualifications, left school with a drug addiction. And, 15, 16, 17, I'm sort of smoking crack and heroin and all sorts, living in a flat on my own. And that kind of chaotic path went right, that led me right through to like 19, 20, and then I ended up in prison. What came with that was violence, domestic violence, violence from other people, me giving violence, me receiving violence. I've been hit with a hammer. I've had a scaffold bar around my head. I've been, I've really seen what it's like to kind of go through that path. So everything that I kind of put out, I got back. And it was a really chaotic path. And then I ended up in prison as a single mum. So I had to leave my daughter behind. My daughter was, she was only 1 at the time. And I went to prison for 9 months. And it was an eye-opener. It was a turning point in my life. Because I realized then that I could sit there and say, look, I was exploited at 9. My dad was a heavy drinker. There was a lot of domestic violence in my house. There's this reason, that reason, that reason. But ultimately, the choices that I had made at some point had led me to being in there. So I had to take ownership of that. And it was a challenging time. But I took ownership of it. And then I decided when I got out that I was going to turn my life around, which I did. I went back to college, started college because I was an adult then, so I could go back without them asking any questions about my GCSEs because I didn't have any. I went back, I did fashion, ironically, and I used to do sewing. I did fashion design, lingerie, millinery, and then I worked in a fashion house for quite a few years. But what was really strange is because I tried to move on from that life, from who I was, I felt like I was in no man's land for so long because I'm trying to be this new person, but I don't know who this new person is, how to act, how to dress, because before that I had a shaved head, I wore jeans and like big boots, Rockport boots and stuff, and I carried myself in a certain way, drank pints. So to kind of go into this new life, I had to be more feminine. I had to embrace that. But then I was conflicted because what I was putting out wasn't who I was, because I was lost inside. So that journey took me a while. Then I ended up from there. I had obviously had more children, and I went and studied law. So ironically, you know, we've moved forward a decade now. I've got more children, and I ended up getting married to somebody who was widowed, and I raised his 2 children. So there was 5 children in the house at this point now, like a decade on. And I went back and studied law, and got a first-class law degree.
Hang on a minute, 5 kids and studying.
So yeah, I worked, and I ran a marathon. So in my 3-year degree, because I don't like to do things by half. Come on, do you know me now? So in my years of studying, I had the 5 children, and they were all sort of, you know, 12, 13 and under, and I ran a marathon, and I also started to work in my final year because I just needed the finances. You know, it's hard to study when you've got children and you want to give them the best. And at that point, we had a recession at the time, because it came up on my memories the other day that a jar of Dalmio back in 2011 was £3 and something. And I remember thinking so that's like the last recession. So I had to go back to work, which is what I did. And so it was tough, but obviously, you know, anything you want in life, it is tough, you know, it's, you know, you pick your hard. Everything's hard. You know, you can sit there and moan about being broke and moan about being depressed, or you can, you know, put effort. It's your hard, isn't it? You've got to decide what your hard is. It's hard to work long hours. It's hard to be happy all the time. It's hard to make those conscious choices, but it's also hard on the flip side. So I put that effort in, and then that was, you know, there's been so many ups and so many journeys, and now I am where I am. So I did my law degree. I worked for a corporate, you know, Fortune 500 company for some time, worked my way up to chief operating officer, which was incredible. And now I've embarked on this new stage of me. Yeah, so that's where we are.
Everyone's going like, everybody's sitting on their seat and bloody gripping everything and thinking, what the hell? I said to you, the show is a roller coaster. We told them, Louise, we
warned them. Yeah,
they didn't understand, and they're like going like, hang on a minute, you don't look that old.
Yeah, and I get a lot, you don't look like an ex-offender. I get that so much. And when I do my talks,
what does an ex-offender look like? Actually?
Right, and this is my issue. It's, what does it look like? What does one look like? Do I need it tattooed on my head, or, you know, all of them things? Like, and you know, with people find themselves in circumstances all of the time. Some through their own actions and their own choices and decisions, but some find themselves found in those positions through no fault of their own at all. And, you know, because we make mistakes in our past doesn't mean that that's going to define us. It doesn't mean that that's going to shape the rest of our future, you know. So for me, when people say you don't look like an ex-offender, it does get to me, because what does one look like? Like, is there a uniform? Is that where you want us to all have a uniform? And when I do my talk, to
be honest with you,
probably, yeah, they probably would. And the thing is, they pick and choose. I think, you know, at the moment, it's really good to have, you know, returning citizens, ex-offenders, whatever you want to call them. I have no problem with either. You know, they want us now to recruit for construction, because construction's really down with 45,000 workers out. So actually, we can recruit ex-offenders or returning citizens, and that's okay, because we'll give them what they need. But then, you know, in a few years' time, if that need isn't there, it's back to being like, oh, you know, you don't get that opportunity. So it's something I feel really passionate about. And as you know, I've helped ex-offenders. I worked as the chief operating officer for an organisation that supplied education, training and employment opportunities for people exiting custody or care leavers. And that's one of the reasons why my business now, so I'm fully launched now with my business. It's taken me a long time to get, where I am and where I wanted to be with it, because as you know, I've got, you know, so many different sides to me. I did go through youth violence. I did go through domestic violence. I did need youth services. I did need, you know, all of these different things. I did suffer with addictions. I did suffer with mental health. I have suffered with all of these things. And for me to sort of, when I speak to people, people are like, wow, you've got so much going on. Like, you've got so many things. And for me to pigeonhole that, I found it so hard. And it's like, you know, because especially with my with my business, ability as well, because that's one thing that I'm, blow my own trumpet, but I am quite bright. I mean, I've got a really good, I've got first law degree. I've got a master's in international HR. I'm quite bright. So what I wanted to do, I was trying to figure out what to do. And I've been really blessed recently. So the last couple of years, I was testing an artificial intelligence platform called ChatGTP. I've also tested one called Claude. And I'm the only trainer in the UK that can provide qualifications for those, which is incredible, which is going to help so many young people, because ultimately that's the way the world is going, whether we like it or not, it's going there. So why not go with it? Why not teach people how to use it for good? Because it's a scary thing, but it's only scary if the person whose hands it's in uses it for bad. If we want to use it for good, then there's so much that can be done with it. So I've launched that part, which is really good, and that's training courses for that. And I'm working with the DWP to be able to put them onto their platform as well, their procurement platform, so that people coming through will be able to access those courses. So it gives them a skill that puts them in a really good position against other people that may be looking for promotion or internal moves. Actually, if there's somebody coming in with that's been on benefits for some time, been on the job, that's literally has got those skills. But I've also been really fortunate that I can't say who it is at the moment, but very, very, very well-known, famous figure that everybody would know. I was flown out to Miami to work for his platform to help with addressing mental health for young people, ex-offenders, men. So I flew to Miami. I was in Miami last month. I also was
I know.
I
follow you.
Yeah. And I did some stuff because I'm still working for Tony Robbins. In fact, I'm working this next month, September, for Tony Robbins at one of his biggest events, which is Life Mastery. I'm there supporting 400. Well, I know I've directly got 400 people from a huge amount of countries. But keeping ahead, my new business is, because of my broad skill set and the power of AI, I have now developed it for not-for-profits. This is it's going to bridge the gap between potential and achievement, because with not-for-profits, three of the things that they probably most of them face is, one is people knowing about who they are, what they deliver, how you can signpost into them, how people can use your service. Number two will be those diverse revenue streams, how to get money into your business, how to secure funding, how to be able to deliver a wide range of courses for service users. And three will be that kind of attraction and retainment of really good quality staff to be able to execute your plans. Now, for me, because I tick so many boxes and I know what it's like to be suffering domestic violence, suffering narcissistic abuse, but I also know what it's like to be a drug person. I know what it's like to come out of prison. I know what it's like to have a child who's gone through prison. I kind of thought, well, actually, let me look at the sector itself. Who's supporting the sector? Who's driving that forward? Because I could quite easily set up a not-for-profit, but is that actually going to do any good? Or is that just sharing that pool of funding, spreading it even more thin? So what I wanted to do was use the power of AI. So corporate organisations and charitable organisations, not-for-profits, there's always been disparities. For me, what I wanted to be able to do with the rise of AI, corporates are just getting more and more bigger and bigger and bigger because they're doing stuff faster, quicker. You say something, it's there, it's done, because that's the power of AI. Not-for-profits, because they're understaffed, because they've got less budget, they're just moving further and further away. Access to funding is becoming harder because bigger corporations and organisations are getting that funding because they're utilising it. So I'm like, hold up a second. Let me go upstream. Let me find out and let me fight the cause from that point, because I don't see anyone in this space. And I've got a gob on me when I need to. So if I need to stand up and articulate.
Surprise.
So for me, this is where I feel that my skill set will be best utilised, is to be able to make sure that people, that there is a service. So my service, it will be for like a subscription-based service for not-for-profits. What it does is it will help them from all things. So from the legal aspect, legals, policies, MOUs, terms and conditions, agreements, all of that stuff. It will also help you with your sales, your marketing strategy, your business strategy. What does that look like long term? It helps with content writing. So if you don't have time to put out newsletters and all of that, I'll be able to do that for you. I can analyze. I was just working on one this morning. I've got 2 businesses. I know that they're aligned, the synergy between them. I literally I sat there and said, right, okay, watch this. I put both their websites into my system. They pulled up what they were. I said, where's the collaboration between these 2? It pointed it out, which I'd already written down, which was really good. So it works like me. And then I said, right, okay, can you now produce emails to each other, introducing each other and wanting to work with each other? Did that. And then I did like the MOU, and I did the whole task in about 7.5 minutes. Obviously, what I'd need to do is then go through it with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure that it all makes sense and make sure the language is right and everything is okay. But this is what I want to be able to provide for people. So it's a subscription-based model. Yeah. And, I just feel that there's a huge call for it, a huge call for it because, and also that access to funding. So when we look at funding, being able to, laborious task of actually sitting down and doing a funding application, and you need this and you need this and you need that. And can you, and you need to word it because it needs to fit into their strategy. That's where I'll come in and I will say, right, let's do it. Let's tick the boxes. And that process, I'll give it back to you when it's, it will be like 85% complete. You just then need to go and put your spin on it, on how, your business will work with it. And it's taking that pressure away. Yeah.
I'm going to stop you.
Because I'm going on and on and on.
No. Because part of what I want for this show to be is like, people listening, people watching. Oh, I need to. That's why we say share. That's why we say tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I'm sure if not, we'll get your details in the chat. People know how to get hold of us at Simply Deez, and we're going to share that information. This video, as you know, will be shared out. There is just so much. I need you back on Real Talk.
Okay.
So we can do a proper deep dive. I'm like going like, and do you know what's kind of, I watched Tim. Have you watched Tim on Netflix?
No.
Watched Tim. That's AI. And it makes me think like, oh, I don't want to be watching that. And then somebody said, watch it. And I thought, okay. And I watched it. I thought, rah.
Yeah. Listen, there's so much with it. I was really fortunate. I worked back in 2011? Yeah, 2011. I worked at Amazon Go, were a concept store that they were looking to bring over to the UK. And I worked on that when I worked for a beer brand, and we looked at how to get the kind of the around the legals part of that. And then it was so informative. And I kept saying to people, listen, your TV's listening to you. Everything's listening to you. You're not prepared. And they were like, oh yeah, you're crazy. And I was like, just test it. And obviously we've got more familiar with it. Like we've had Netflix, we've had Spotify, we've had iTunes suggested, YouTube suggested, all of this stuff. Even like Nectar points, that's AI. They're looking at, they're processing your data and they're sending you stuff, or your app is picking up on what you spent on your Nectar points. It's artificial intelligence. It's analysing. The difference is we've got control of it now. We can use it so that there are platforms there that you or I or anyone else can go on and use, and you can use it to make your life easier, to streamline your life, to streamline your business, to really push you forward, because we're only getting, it's more and more digital. COVID or the pandemic pushed us forward in that space. And, the job landscape, the landscape's completely different. 40% of the jobs that are currently here now, 46% of the current jobs will be gone by the time in 2040. This is our children. So my children, my grandchildren's, generation. So my grandson, by the time he's 16, 17 and looking for his jobs, the jobs landscape as we know it now will not be here. There'll be different jobs. So for me, it's like, so the not-for-profit part is that, but where I've got my training courses and where I'm doing that part, it's essential for me that we teach the young person skills that are sustainable, skills that are going to help them in later years. No point in serving. Like, what there is now is fine, but we've got to think ahead. We've got to think about what's coming down the line. What does it look like in 5 years and 10 years? We can't just keep doing the now, because if we keep just treading in the now, when the future, we're going to have a big redundancy, a big recession. We've got to think forward thinking. So,
where are those other people? I've got a message. Do we have to pay for ChatGPT?
No, so ChatGPT, you can have
she got it wrong.
Yeah, ChatGPT. No, so for ChatGPT 3.5, no, it's free, and I think maybe it's part of ChatGPT 4, but you only get the basics, and you don't have the rights to the content that you put out. So, say you are, people could make books and make all of that sort of stuff, but you don't have the rights over what you produce. You can't put it out there and market as your own. If you bought the license, it's only about £20 a month. If you bought the license, you have access then to ChatGPT 4 and all of the plugins, and the new 1.5, which is incredible. But so that and you have rights over it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God blimey, where's Cecile and those other girls? My giddy aunt. I tell you what, I'm going to have to go and have a lie down after this show today. I'm going to need a lie down.
That's awesome. Absolutely amazing. You're an amazing lady.
Absolutely. Inspiring.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
See, when we say, is that Sandra or Gaynor there?
Sandra.
Sandra, hi Sandra, sorry.
Hi.
I don't know if you've ever, you might not have seen the show before, but this is what we've done for the past 2 and a bit years, literally every Tuesday. There's this show, and it's not a specific topic. There's so many people out there with so much to share. When you think you haven't got anything that you can share, you sitting back watching, you're thinking like, oh wow, I've learned something today. You will never come away and not have learned something. We are never too old to learn.
Absolutely.
No, that's so true.
Yes.
So true. And from any background as well. It doesn't matter whether you come from,
So we welcome. Louise has been on, I don't know, I think I've lost count of fingers.
A few times.
But Debs has been on, but there's been so many other people we have met, anybody. So they know how to contact us. And if people have got events or things coming up to let us know, we welcome them to come on and be sharing with us. So, ladies,
I do have something that I'm launching, actually. It's a 12-week program. So this is around the coaching, because obviously, as you know, I've been a coach for a few years. I worked, I've been doing it for quite a while. But I'm doing a 12-week program, and I am charging for it. It's £10 a week. So it's £120 in total. It's a 12-week program. It's named 2023 because it's 2023. So we might as well free ourselves from all of the things that have held us back, all of our limiting beliefs. So it might be that you're feeling lost. It might be that your children have grown up and fled the nest. It might be that you're just kind of lacking passion. You might go through the menopause. There might be so many different things, but we get to a point with us women where we just feel like we don't have a purpose, or we don't know what we're doing, and we're coasting. Yeah. So this is 12 weeks, starts the 10th of September. It's to kind of reignite that. 3 stages. It's awakening, harsh realization where you are. What does your life really, really look like? I do techniques in there as well. So that's like a 3 to 4 week process. Then we do creation, create the life you want. What does it look like? How do we do it? And this is where I'll provide you with step by step to say, what does it look like? What is it that you want? And we do a blueprint to help you get there, and it's all on track. And then we do the transformation and we help you through that process. It's all recorded. Like, we would have live sessions. You get your own portal. You get access to literally everything that I've built. But yeah, that starts 10th of September. The idea is to help everybody go into 2024 the best version of themselves.
Excellent. Brilliant. Really great idea. Brilliant. Well done. Nice one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm sure you get a few people want that one. That'd be great.
I just think, 2023, why don't I just use the play on words? I'm like, just free yourself from like whatever's holding you back, because so many women do, and men, we get to this point in life and we just feel like where am I going? Like, what am I doing? The kids have gone, what, you know, how do I fill my time? I don't even know what I like or want anymore. And it's like, let's find who you are and let's, you know, live with a passion, live with love.
Forward, yeah.
Oh,
Help them get
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
lovely. We're going to have to wrap, ladies. Phil, something pretty awesome is happening next week.
Yeah. Well done.
So, next Saturday, 2nd of September, we have got our youth event. So it's the Luton Youth Community Day. It is being run at the Hat Factory, Saturday the 2nd of September, 12 till 5. The tickets are free. You have to go on Eventbrite, but the tickets are free. There's free food for the young people that are attending. You oldies have to pay for your own food, but the young ones, it's free food.
Fair play.
And we have got, it's been put together by a committee. The lead on the committee is my own Remy. She has been leading this. And it's just going to be, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There are speakers, there are going to be workshops, there's going to be things that there's going to be difficult topics and there's going to be fun topics. It's going to be that mix of anything that a young person needs to hear from 11 to 25. So you need to get yourself booked on. If you're of an age, go and get your grandchild, go and get your niece or nephew, whatever. Go and get somebody. Come on down, and it's just not to be missed. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. What? Oh, Louise, you've got younger ones, haven't you?
Wait, well, my grandson, well, yeah, 15 is the youngest.
Some between 11 and 25.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
I do.
You need to get,
my son's 21 on Monday, on Sunday. Obviously, one of my children's out of that bracket. But yeah, and I've got my grandson. I'll bring him down as well.
So you just need to go on Eventbrite. The link is all in our Simply Deez Facebook page. It's been shared everywhere. Yeah, just get yourself on that. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
Simply Deez at its best.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Definitely. So please share, everybody. Share with your friends, share with your contacts, because people be like, oh, I wish I'd have known. Let's get as many people, young people, as we can. They have got a voice. We don't listen. And this is an opportunity for them to listen to each other, to share. And we've got some amazing. Do you want to drop some of the nuggets, some people that are going to be participating, Cecile?
So we've got Quintin Green. So anybody, if you don't know Quintin, go onto Facebook, go and search for him, have a look. The guy he's just inspirational. So he's a musician, he is a spoken word poet, he has an organisation that is working within the schools and the community around knife crime. So he's that's just one. We have got Brandon, who is training to be an F1 driver and is going to tell us his story. We have got local, we've got Amy Ricks, who obviously Louise knows very well, who's coming down, and she's going to be talking about what she does, because she's an artist, and also she's going to run a workshop as well. Who else have we got? Who else am I sharing?
Is it soul food? Is it soul? No.
So we have got a gentleman who is coming to talk about boxing and how that works in the community. So he works for Strong Soul Fitness, which also works in conjunction with Boxing Saves Lives. So they have been working with young people within the schools about how they can put their energies into boxing and use that for the right reasons as opposed to other reasons.
Yeah.
So that's so many. Next week, I'm going to tell you some more. You have to come back next week because I'm going to tell you some more. Not telling you all of it now.
Going to have some of those young people, instead of they're going to be sharing what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So we are going to round up for today. Thank you so much, Deborah, Gaynor, and Sandra.
Thank you.
Thank you to Clarky Louise. Still, as always, our anchor. And don't forget, in the background, we can't do this without the amazing producer, Shelley Titmus. She is there. She is in the wings. God knows what she's up to mischief. But we will be back same time next Tuesday, 12 to 12:30. So see you guys later. Ladies, if you could hang for just 1 sec while we go off air.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.